Thank you, Alice. You know, I just figured out who Alice is, like, after, like, the third time you said it. But...
Hey, Alice. Fancy seeing you here at the place that we always know you to be. So it's not really that fancy. It's more like a regularly scheduled event. But it's still good to see you. We have some very special guests in the house tonight. We have Will. We have Garret of Cavehole fame and Gunk House infamy. And we also have the great and powerful Evan Carpenter joining us as well. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Garret brought some mystery bags we're going to rifle through in a minute. I'm very interested to see what decapitated heads are soaking the floor right now.
Yeah, it's everything, not just heads.
Okay, cool. Got arms, legs.
It's a variety. We try to keep it like, you know, keep it loose. I don't stick to one body part.
Yeah, connoisseur.
Yeah, I like it all.
So what do y'all got coming up soon as far as shows or releases?
Yeah, October 16th with Jeffrey Lewis and Cravon at the Cobra is our next Nashville thing. We're going on a tour day after tomorrow, and we come back and play that show. But if you buy advance tickets to that show, you get a free item, which we'll be looking at in a second. First 15 people.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going on the tour?
We'll hit Chattanooga, Asheville, Baltimore twice, Philly, New York twice, and then Asheville again on the way back. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's I've been seeing like little mini tours for like local artists. I think that's a good way to kind of get your name out there, especially when you're like trying to do that, trying to promote yourself. We like obviously, you know, like Middle Tennessee has its scene here, but I have heard tale that sometimes like touring and going to other cities can be like better crowds sometimes even than like hometown shows. And I think that's for a lot of reasons, but like that's something I've, you know, like I've talked to a lot of artists, and that seems to be like kind of just across the board is there's a few reasons I think that is, like one of which being like it's very saturated here. Like there's a show every night, anywhere, right. Every bar. Whereas like some cities don't really, like they have a music scene, but not like it is here. Like we've got friends from like LA or like Arkansas and like all over the country that come here like to cut their teeth and like make a name for themselves, and like it's like actually one of the hardest places,
right? I mean, I think that's why we just have these big ass bills at Gunk, because touring acts don't understand too. Also, like Nashville, people drop a lot, and because there's so many other shows, they'll get a better show, and so they'll just, you know, and they're already doing like, you know, a show every other day. So that's, I feel like that is that kind of energy. But Will could probably speak to that in regard to like playing other cities, because he's got a bunch of friends in Alabama, and whenever we come through, like they like turn up, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like it's I feel like it's nice, like just starting to make like almost like making a name for yourself, just like in the surrounding like states around and whatnot. Like anytime we go out to Alabama, like we have like a reliable crowd now, like that will pull up to any shows that we have out there. I feel like it's like getting similar in some spots in like Georgia and whatnot. Definitely like Chattanooga, like for us, like I'm real excited to go to Chattanooga because we were just there a couple months ago, and we often like have all them guys out at the house,
Yeah, our buddies Open and Havoc, which if y'all haven't had them,
Open and Havoc,
yeah,
based
but-
in Chattanooga.
Yep.
Based in Chattanooga.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check them out. Do they play here often, or
Yeah, they come
Okay.
through a good bit.
that's what's up? Chattanooga's cool, man. I like that city.
Yeah, Chattanooga has a cool little scene.
Yeah. One of my friends' band called Waterfall Wash is based there. They're a really cool band too.
That's such a Chattanooga name.
Yeah, they were here, and then they ended up in Chattanooga. But I think it is a much more Chattanooga
Yeah,
name.
for sure.
Yeah. So you said you got some friends in Alabama. Is that where you're from?
Yeah, yeah. We both of us are actually from like Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Like grew up in different spots, but like from the same
Yeah,
town,
we
though.
didn't know each other
Yeah.
over at the time, but we were actually from the same town.
So
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
so you guys grew up in the same town, but you didn't meet each other until
Well,
you
right.
moved here?
Well,
Close,
Until-
close. Yeah.
Okay.
another town we met each other in. We grew up in Aston, met each other in Tuscaloosa.
We both happened to
shit.
move to Tuscaloosa at different
Yeah.
points and stuff.
Was that
Yeah.
like did you guys meet over music or?
Yeah.
Okay.
He started hosting these festivals called Crawfest, which worth checking out.
Hell yeah.
And that's how they reached out to us. I was in
Yeah,
another
yeah.
band called Hot Lobster at the time.
Yeah, we had Hot Lobster out
Oh,
at
you-
the
oh,
first
yeah.
Crawfest.
For crawfish, yeah, fuck yeah. That's
Yeah.
a match made in heaven.
Right,
That's awesome. I grew up in Fayetteville, Tennessee, which is like right above Huntsville.
Mhm.
So I've spent a lot of time in like Huntsville and Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both cool scenes out there too.
yeah, man.
Really like the
Um,
hardcore scenes around.
Yeah, there's a band called the Moose out of
sounds
Huntsville. They're cool, man. The first time I saw them play was at East Room, and the front man plays bass, and he's a rather large fellow, like just very large presence, and he he fell, and it didn't look like a bad fall, but he broke his leg on stage.
You know,
Like,
Man,
yeah.
but that's
it's pretty hard.
But-
yeah, that's pretty hard. You know?
Yeah, no, he fell and like he's laying there and he finishes the song.
What
Like
the
he's
fuck?
just laying there playing bass. And then he's like, y'all, I broke my leg. They had to carry him out on a stretcher. That was one of the craziest things. But he finished the fucking song. It was awesome.
Oh, that's badass, dude. It's like Teddy Roosevelt. Finish the speech, man. That's sick.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Teddy
Roosevelt?
Roosevelt. He got like shot on stage, and he was
Oh.
like, "I have been shot," and then he just kept on going to the speech.
What a
He
badass.
finished it. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Holy shit.
him and the Moose.
The first DIY show I went to was in Gadsden, Alabama, at a place called Maggie's, and the girl broke her leg in the pit. The first act, when she came back for the last act with the cast.
Oh
fucking
shit.
dancing around and shit. Yeah,
Dude, that's
was
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, shout out to Huntsville. Huntsville's fucking lit.
for sure.
You did say that was Huntsville, right?
Gadsden,
Maggie's.
close
Oh,
enough,
my
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, it is like you were saying earlier, like it's good to like if you're based somewhere, like go play the surrounding places because then you can like you go, with those bands and help them out, and then they have a place to play when they come
Right.
here.
Mhm.
We got a good community, man. You guys are doing a lot for the community. Gunk House, if you don't know, is like one of the most prolific, amazing house venues in town. I've seen a lot of really fucking great shows there just recently, like in the last 2 or 3 months, I'd say. There's been a lot of great acts to come through there. So thank you guys for doing that. Also like putting up stuff I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
Like it's a good place to meet new music, like, and see shit you haven't seen before.
Right. I appreciate that because I mean it is like that is one of the things we wanted to do is like booking is such a bitch, helping people. That's why I like doing the big ass shows too, because you
Mhm.
actually like really get a lot of people seeing,
Seeing other people, like
Yeah.
other bands and whatnot,
Yeah.
Like I feel like we've had like so many bands roll through that we've even been like their first show,
Right.
and like it's been cool just like seeing them like get the ball rolling and whatnot,
Right.
from there.
And Cavehole is a very interesting project. It's very avant-garde, weird in the best way. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think I ever will again, besides seeing you guys play more. How long have you guys been playing together?
So he filled in with my previous band a good bit. So
Yes, that's
that
kind of
was
a hard
yeah.
question.
I
We
got you.
started this group like a year ago
Just about
ish.
right a year ago.
Yeah. But it was kind of a morph from our two bands.
So like this tour that we're going on now is like almost essentially the same route that we went on tour like what 2 years, 3 years ago with two.
Something like that.
We
Yeah.
were on in two different bands that just we met up at Crawfest and whatnot. We vibed real hard, and so we just decided to go up north together. And when we got back, Garrett's band had moved here to Nashville, and my band had stayed in Tuscaloosa for the next year, and we decided to move up to Nashville as well. But both of our bands like had like some splittings, just like in like growing pains and whatnot,
Yeah.
and we just decided to merge the remnants, and
That's
what
awesome.
Cavehole is. So
That is so cool. So yeah. So like two dying stars and then make a supernova. out of it.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. What a cool story. So you guys were both in different bands that were kind of like on the quits and then just decided to make something out of it.
Yeah.
I remember when we met, it was that Varicose that
So you saw us at Springwater, and I think
yeah.
that was like either right at the end of Varicose. I think that was right at the end of Varicose, or maybe Will was with us, but we were still going under Varicose.
Yeah, I did a couple shows with you
Yeah.
like that.
Something like that. I think like we were doing a lot of the Varicose material, and somewhere in there we changed over to new material, but I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so I thought that was the case, but I wanted to be sure. So Cavehole is more than just a new name, like it's completely new material.
Yeah.
That's awesome. On while we're talking, is it okay if I start looking through these bags
Yeah,
here?
dude.
Yeah.
What we got here?
Yeah, you're welcome to poke
Oh,
some
yeah, let me
shit.
get in the other one here. Yeah, thanks.
Ooh,
That one's a little moist. I just got done bleaching things,
I
but
just
I
pissed
just
all over it.
That's why it
But
smells so
it's
good
not
out here.
wet with bleach. though.
Yeah,
It's
I
wet with
hosed
water.
it down.
No, I get it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it.
Wet with rust.
Yeah.
It's liquid rust. Oh, it's closing here. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
But y'all can pick an item.
Oh, thanks,
Your
man.
choice.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look around here.
Oh, these are sick, dude.
So all these are available and super cheap. If you come to the show, they're even more cheap on October 16th, which is also our release for a single.
Ooh,
Yeah, yeah.
nice. Are we talking about what that's called yet?
It's called Waste.
Waste.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, have you guys already recorded that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. So that'll be available, I guess, like all platforms.
Yep,
Yeah,
that'll be
yeah.
available on the 16th, and then we got December 1st. We'll have an album coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a name for that yet?
No,
Okay.
That's not quite right.
Yeah, I got you.
we decided on the release date
Yeah.
a couple hours ago.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first,
Right.
folks. Very cool, man. So, what kind of music did y'all's parents play when you were like in the house when you guys were growing up, or like in the car?
Oh
Ooh,
man,
That's cool.
my
got some picks, man.
Yeah,
Some
for
stellar
real.
picks.
My family listens to a lot of like 80s Christian rock, like Christian like heavy metal,
It's basically
like
our whole thing. Yeah.
Christian, just like what we'd say now classic rock, just like I mean like imagine like Led Zeppelin, but God, like,
Yeah, yeah.
that was every day.
I know exactly what you mean.
It was a lot, and it's still every day. Every time I go back, I'm like they haven't got tired of it.
So, it being Christian music, I assume it was also like a Christian household.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
What
My mother's-
denomination did you grow up?
We grew up mainly Presbyterian.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's fun.
Yeah. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, so I feel you.
Yeah.
Is that the same with you? Is it a religious house?
Not so much. I think we went to church because that was the social thing to do. But my dad would always just fucking take us in the woods and be like, "This is God." And,
Oh, he's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love
yeah, it
that.
was
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool. He'd be like hugging trees and shit.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the kind of religious upbringing I want to instill.
Right.
Yeah, I also grew up in like a very devoutly religious household. All of my family still is. Is your family still?
Oh yeah. Oh man. So much so.
There's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
I'm grateful for, like when it comes to like how I was raised. Like not all good, obviously, but like one cool thing about Jehovah's Witnesses is they actually read the Bible. Like whereas like growing up, like and just talking to other people that grew up religiously, it's like some of them just go to church and like listen to a preacher, whereas like I know what's in the Bible. So that I mean like more than I want to. So it's like I don't know. It's cool and it's not cool. It's an interesting thing. My thing about it is like I think a lot of people don't understand it. Like I don't like a lot of people that are like really big advocates for it don't know what it is.
Yeah, like I don't know, the way that I like my family doesn't really go to like church anymore, you know? Like they kind of have like their, as they say, like their own relationship with God and whatnot. But I don't know, a lot of what like I just don't like the idea of just like completely depending on like some other thing. You know what I mean? Like I can do some things for myself, you know. If something bad happens, it doesn't mean that like I'm being smited. And if something good happens, it doesn't have to mean that I'm being blessed. You know, I can do good things.
You give up your agency in the universe.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't like that, you know.
Yeah. Like to be like grounded and in control. Like I'm very much the same. So what did your parents listen to when you were a kid?
60s, 70s. Mom was more 70s, 80s. My dad likes the Allman Brothers a lot.
Hell yeah.
Like, you know, that kind of classic rock stuff, blues. But yeah, I was like a classic rock elitist until like, I don't know, I was like 15. I think that's a foundation, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean that's a good place to start.
Right.
Did you guys do all these?
Yeah, I just did that guy today, man. It shrunk. It was like a large earlier, dude.
That's awesome.
But I might hold
Who does
it
the
up.
art? Yeah, who does the artwork?
I just made that on my phone and then
No way, are you serious?
And we screen printed it off.
Dude, that's really good.
Yeah, these guys are cheap. Man, be selling them at the shows for $10. Do like some deals too, you know.
Dude, this is a great way to do merch. Like that's really brilliant. Because everyone's unique. Like it's not all like
there's not a single one in there that's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
it's so sick, man. And you got like different, more than just like shirts. Like you got like over shirts too.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. And there's patches in there. Definitely, that's the 16th.
Yeah.
Definitely go to their single release at you said Cobra?
Yep.
Fuck yeah, man. I'll put link down in the description for the single too, if you can send me
Yeah,
that.
dude, that'd be awesome.
This will probably go up that week, actually.
that'd be sick.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys are cooking up. That then and December 1st for the album release. That'll be fun, man.
Yeah.
So what have you guys been listening to in like the last week?
Oh man.
I've been listening to your
I listen to a lot of like stuff that we don't sound like, you know. So like recently I've been getting into like some breakcore music, you know. I found a playlist on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty lively, you know.
Hell yeah. Any particular artists that you really like?
Oh man, I'm just like taking them all in right now. There's one that I like, but I you know, I can't quite pick them off on the top of my head right now.
I gotcha.
They have the crazy names, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it'll just be a bunch of letters. I'm like, yeah, they're sick, you know.
The reason I was asking is you guys are like I said earlier, aren't like anything I've ever heard before. So I was wondering where that inspiration's coming from. But it like you grew up with Christian rock, you grew up with classic rock, and you guys don't sound anything
Right,
like either
yeah.
of those. What have you been listening to in like the last week?
So yeah, I've been like, I'll go through phases of listening to the same like folk song, like back to back, like all day or something. I honestly like I think our music sounds closer to stuff that I was listening to a while back, like a lot more post punk, and I was also listening to a lot of audiobooks, and I feel like that's where all the spoken word kind of came from. Because I had this restaurant job where I was just chopping veggies for like 8 hours. It was like a year ago, and I'd just be like listening to audiobooks, and I had all the words coming, all the time. I think that's where the spoken word stuff kind of came from for me. And then like I really like bands like Sprain and Pretend, and the stuff is the whole like windmill scene, like Black Country New Road and Black Midi, all those guys. I feel like that's probably like the closest thing to. I mean, we've gotten a lot more like free form and a lot like
And,
more metal than
you
that,
know,
but
and like when we were initially like writing like sludge and like some of the more like spoken word stuff, like and that was very soon after like that had come up here and whatnot. And
yeah,
you know, back then we were also I took a lot of inspiration for some of those like really like out there parts from like when we were doing the film scoring stuff,
yeah,
like with from your like your buddy's film. And like so I moved up here and Garrett's like, you know, so I'm doing like the score to this film. Do you just want to like randomly play some upright bass, like just do
Dude.
some noises and we'll distort it and make it all scary and stuff. And like I just never really like approached like playing like music like that before, you know? So I mean like I definitely think like a lot of like what I do and like some of like the more like softer parts of sludge comes from like when we were like fucking around with that kind of stuff, you know, like just really like being out there and kind of just like accompanying me to, like something like a scene rather than like
yeah.
making
This
like
is like a
riffs
lot
and
of
stuff.
visual imagery. We
Mhm.
kind of like we base a lot of stuff off of lyrics. I feel like, at least
Yeah.
I think with my writing, it's based around the lyrics. With yours, it's a lot of times music then lyrics.
Yeah, I'm way more like
Uh,
on the music side of things. I don't even know the lyrics to our songs. Like they're there, and there's I know some of them that we use as cues. I don't.
What kind of audiobooks did you? I read a lot of audiobooks or listen to a lot of audiobooks too.
I'm ashamed to say I listened to Infinite Jest like 5 times,
Religiously.
and then
Is
I
that
was
a Terrence McKenna?
no, it's David Foster Wallace. I'm not gonna be the guy that talks about David Foster Wallace on your
Okay.
podcast, but he's definitely not cool to like now. He's not like super canceled or anything. He's just like every like pretentious like white college kid like gets into him at some point because he's just like it's like before like the whole black pill shit started taking off. Like people would hate him now, like but it is like it's all just like mental shit, like really psychic, like ramblings and that kind of stuff. I listened to like No Longer Human and all the House of Leaves and like standard like.
There's a House of Leaves audiobook.
I think I read that one. I don't know if there's an audio.
Yeah. I mean that would be a weird one to have an audiobook
Yeah,
for.
that would be wacky.
That'd be insane.
I just listen to Game of Thrones
Yeah.
over and over.
Oh, dude, I love Game of
That you can have all the full philosophical stuff. Yeah.
That's I love like psychedelic nonfiction, just like philosophy stuff. But the fantasy audiobooks are a lot more in my wheelhouse. Like I've read all the Game of Thrones. Unfortunately, I've read all the Harry Potter books, and I don't recommend them. I'm a big advocate for fuck Harry Potter. I hated J.K. Rowling before it was cool. I just because she's a shitty writer. But that's neither here nor there. Sorry if you guys like Harry Potter. But yeah, I listen to a lot of fantasy books too. We actually do a book club on this show. Also, every month we do a different book at the end of each month. actually tomorrow is when we're recording the next one, but that's nonfiction. It's called should know this.
The something of tidying up.
The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Maria Kondo. It's very interesting. It's like feng shui concepts. And I'm a very not organized, I'm a very sloppy person. And it's like really, I haven't applied a lot of what's in the book, but it's already like really changed my outlook on things. Like, and it's made me excited to clean my room.
Did she really put the fun in feng shui?
That's gonna be your like little clickbait for this.
Yeah, Neve, put that at the very beginning. Just did you put the fun in feng shui?
No one's gonna listen.
Yeah, no one watches this show.
That's the freeing part, man.
Yeah.
Just try to get canceled.
We're doing our best.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing that tomorrow, and then next month I haven't announced this yet. We're reading The Vorrh, VORRH, recommended to me by Anastasia Elliott. She's been on the show before, and when she came on, she was like, "You got to read this for your book club." I'm like, "Okay," and we're finally getting around to it. That was like 6 months ago, but I've had like a list, and I'm slowly getting through them. The Vorrh looks really cool. It's like this forest that people don't know the boundaries of, so it may or may not be infinite, and there's like a bunch of weird shit that goes on in this forest, and this guy's like, I'm gonna conquer it.
Hell yeah.
I'm sold.
Yeah,
Sounds sick.
Yeah, so that one's gonna be sick.
You should tell Hyatt that too, because he's definitely mentioned this book to me before.
The
Yeah.
Vorrh?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
VORRH.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hyatt? Okay, cool.
Hyatt has,
yeah, I'll let him know.
Mhm.
But yeah. I mean, you guys, if you want, you could just read the audiobook and then join us on that too.
Hey, we got a lot of hours coming up, man, on
We
on the
really do.
road. I've been trying to get everybody else's vote in because I think we got enough. We're going all the way to New York and back. We get through something sturdy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a Russian one or something.
Yeah.
Ooh. That little
Some
Brothers
Dostoevsky.
Karamazov
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Let's be honest, that's a boring road trip.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds. I mean, maybe on like double speed or something.
Yeah.
A lot of caffeine.
Oh man.
You ever think about just doing like language classes, like they're on some Rosetta Stone or Duolingo or
Yeah,
something?
we could get through. We could have some basics down of something, But we last time I remember we took like 5 cars because we were 2 bands and like just a bunch of
extra
friends
people.
and people
Yeah,
filming and
just
there's a
lot.
whole
It
documentary
really
from our
is,
last
yeah.
tour.
It
Oh,
was
shit,
like
yeah.
way like
It's
over
like
the
a
top.
2-hour feature film.
Is that like
Yeah.
available where people can find
It is.
Not at the moment, but it will be back at some point.
He's doing a new edit of it.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's gonna re-release.
it? Right on.
But yeah, he did another one for Crawfest too. That's also out. Yeah, we've been really lucky to have some buddies that have filmed our shit and actually document things because we're really bad about doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had 2 camera guys on that tour, which was silly but awesome.
Yeah, very overkill for like, just going to play at a couple bars and stuff, But it was cool.
It sounds fun. I definitely want to see that.
For sure.
It's the kind of shit you're definitely gonna look back on someday too.
Oh yeah,
like at least once a year I
I'm a
go back. I'm
narcissist,
like,
dude.
what
I'll
the
watch it.
Tell,
over and
tell
over.
your kids about it. They're like, why are you showing me this? I don't want to see this. I want to get back.
Angle keeps switching back.
Let me plug back into the Matrix. I don't want to watch this.
If you are interested in checking out like some of like their stuff that they've recorded, I know our buddy Grant, who on YouTube is Grantland, one word, Thomas. He has like a bunch of really cool things on his channel, like between like some of Vericose's old projects, some of my old band Settlers' old projects. Even recently, just like back in September, no, not September, what was it? August, right? When we had Crawfest last.
That sounds right. I don't know,
Yeah,
July.
this whole
something.
summer's been flying through, but just recently he recorded our last Crawl Fest we had there. It's the first one we've done in years, and that's available on his channel there. It's like an hour like film like that just goes through like the different bands that we had there and whatnot. Some different national bands that we brought down to show off to the Alabama crowds and the different Alabama crowds and how they sound different and whatnot. But it's a cool little watch if you check that out.
Hell
on his
yeah.
channel.
If I can find it, I'll put a link down below this too.
Yeah, totally.
I just I just uploaded a big chunk of the show to Rumble, just because it's a platform to upload to, not for any particular reason, but I'm just I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to like get my feelers out everywhere. Why did I bring that up?
What is Rumble? That sounds dirty.
I have no idea.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm
Okay, I'm glad
imagining
I'm
it's
not
like a
the
right
only-
wing thing. What is Rumble?
Rumble is just like a new YouTube that they are trying to say is like that, but it's not. It's not like a political thing. It's just
Okay.
like another media platform.
Okay.
Is it better than
It's better than YouTube because they don't restrict what you can talk about. Like it's much less uncensored, and they monetize their artists. It's like an ethical YouTube.
Oh.
They are trying, like certain media companies are trying to like get it canceled and shit, but it sounds like, oh, y'all have money in YouTube, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Mr. Beast is gonna start coming down on this guys.
I mean, they immediately like automatically monetized us when we started it. So I mean, we're not making any money, but potentially we could.
Potentially, yeah.
Unlike fucking Spotify, which we're on there too. Shout out to Spotify. I can't remember why I brought that up. But I'll put links to Grantland.
Yeah, Grantland
Thomas,
Thomas.
yeah.
Grantland Thomas. Yeah, you guys are like really interesting with your art. You're really doing a lot for the scene. And now finding out that like you have a film crew that followed you around for like you guys are just very artistic. And that's artistic, not autistic. But like you do your own fucking merch. That's awesome. Like you're real fucking artists, man.
Appreciate it, man.
So much shit is contrived and it's super saturated, and like it's just really cool to see people doing what they want to do. So I'm fully behind you guys in whatever projects you do going forward.
Yeah, I'm glad you're down with the nutty stuff, man. I think like it has been hard to find stuff that does sound like us, because there is like when we were just like a jazzy post-hardcore thing, which now it's kind of changing a little bit from that. But, like there is a lot like that. I just haven't seen as much of it in Nashville, and there's not as much math rock in Nashville
Yeah.
as other places, and that I don't know, just like there's a lot more regular kind of punk and like heavy shit that seems really popping off. But as far as like weirder kind of like spoken word and all that shit, I haven't seen as much. But I definitely and before Will moved up, I was thinking about moving to Atlanta because there's a lot of that kind of shit around
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah. And obviously in like New York. But yeah, honestly that was before starting the Gunk House thing, and then we're like, oh, okay, actually we really fuck with the scene.
Yeah, the scene up here, like like when I moved up here, like I was fully my intention was like, I'm gonna do like my own music, but I wanted to really get on to Broadway. I wanted to play bass on Broadway and like make some money out there.
Hey, nothing wrong with that either.
Like that's what I wanted to do. But like when we started Gunk House and like we really got into like the DIY scene up here and whatnot, I was like, like
Fuck making money.
fuck making money,
Yeah.
I just like
Having too much fun.
yeah,
Man.
we'll do some shit for free that's fun, that's like, but like I enjoy it so much more. And like it's at the point where it's like I know that like if I wanted at this point to go do the Broadway kind of stuff, it would just mean less time for me to do the DIY stuff that I really enjoy, and that's just like a sacrifice that I couldn't make at this point.
That's a good point. I was gonna say you could do both, but it would kind of compromise like how much time you have to
there's
dedicate
only,
to what
there's
you
only
want to
so
do.
many hours in the day, and it's already hard enough,
Yeah.
But I'd say the same, you could apply the same thing to what y'all are doing with this. far as like providing for the, facilitating cool shit, I see this as the same as what Gunk House is doing.
Yeah.
But I wonder with as much, because you sent me like a screenshot of your calendar. You're like, pick a day, and I wonder if I could pick your brain a little bit about that process, because we've been struggling, especially with, I do most of the booking stuff, trying to figure out like how to be so involved with so many different people's art, and people that you care about their art,
Yeah.
and be supportive of it when there's so much, it's so oversaturated, and without becoming really transactional with how you deal with it. Because like with us, uh, if we're already hosting 10 shows a month and we keep getting more and more inquiries about stuff, the best I can say is like, well, we can do it, but we have to take off work, so you will have to start charging. And I just wonder because I saw your calendar, like you're going to so many shows, supporting so many people and stuff. Like, does that get to you where you're like, oh, there's like 5 friends who are playing tonight and that kind of thing?
Yeah, yes is the answer.
Yeah,
It is a lot. I go to a lot of shows. That's kind of the answer, and also the problem
right.
is like that's how I know everybody is going out to shows and like catching everyone's sets and like sticking around talking to them. I know people in the Broadway cover band scene. I know people in the Murfreesboro punk scene. I know people in the DIY East Nashville scene. And then like, yeah, a big part of what we're trying to do here is, I'm sure you guys, not only in Nashville, Middle Tennessee, but just in general, I'm sure you guys can relate to this, but it can get very like clicky. It can get very like, we play these shows in these places,
Right.
and we don't fuck with anyone else. Like something I've noticed that kind of blows my mind is a lot of the artists I talk to don't know each other. And it's like, even on the same bill, it's like y'all left before the other band played.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
And it's like, there's like, it's like putting on airs. It's very pretentious. And that's Nashville, just straight up. Like I can say that because we live here, right? But and I grew up like an hour from here, so I feel like I can talk shit about Nashville.
Right.
It is like
fuck you, Nashville.
Yeah, fuck you, guy from Rhode Island says. No, you get the Nashville card.
All
That's
right,
okay.
thanks. Good to sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that, because between working at Cobra and helping out a little bit with the booking there, and then doing the booking for our place, the shows where everyone knows each other and the bands know each other, there's like these groups. I talked to other sound guys and people about this, but there's like these little cliques, and it's like, when this group of like, there's like 15 bands that you pick any 5 of them, and you're going to have that same crowd at that show, and those do well. When we try to do the showcases at Cobra where all these bands don't know each other, they're not going to stick around for, you know what I mean? And same we've gotten luckier with the house show thing, because most of the time, if they see that they're playing a house show, they're there to have a good time. It's not like a business, it's
Yeah.
not. But there has been times, like I think when you came to one of the last ones you came to, where we had 3 touring acts and we got 4 locals. The day of, all the locals said they had some obligations, so they have to play super early, and so we just had 3 touring acts at the end, one from Canada, one Missouri, all over the place. But that is hard to see. And what can you do? Everybody's got jobs and stuff, but I think there's people that'll book a show even though, and not even sure if they can make it or not, and they'll be like, yeah, we're good for it, and then the day of, it's like, I don't know.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Were you done?
No, yeah.
I will say, like, that's you guys are doing it for the right reasons. You guys have a good attitude about it. It's only a competition if you look at it that way.
Right.
Otherwise, we're all working together and we're all just part of this cool art collective. Which I have 0 tolerance for the cliquey shit. like I dip my toes in all of these different groups, and I'm trying to bring everyone together. Where it's like, don't look down on the Broadway cover bands just because they're making money.
Right.
Like those are some very fucking talented people a lot of the time. Sometimes it's not, but like sometimes those are like some of playing the fucking CMA awards and there's like complete badasses.
Yeah.
And like those people shouldn't look down on, like, for example, like the Murfreesboro punk scene, like, which has a fucking booming scene, which is also kind of like, that's its own little thing. Like, they don't come to Nashville often enough,
Right.
which is something I'm trying to work on too. But you guys are doing it for the right reasons. I think so that's the other thing is like, it's easy if you're from a small town, it's easy to like Jason Aldean. But he's not from a small, I'm sorry, who is not from a small town, and I don't think he even wrote that song. But
Yeah, shout out Jason Aldean,
shout out
dude.
to
Yeah.
Jason Aldean, dude. Little artist we're trying to
Rules.
bring up.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
We can keep talking about Jason.
No, let's not.
You clearly want to, Alex.
I said from a small town. I'm like, oh, I got to make this fucking stupid joke. I'm sorry, everyone at home who hates me. The one person that's still watching just turned off. What was I saying?
Do you live stream too?
We're not live.
Okay.
We do the book club live,
Gotcha.
but these are all recorded ahead of time.
Cool.
Um,
So if I like slander something, like
We can just cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh no, we do no editing.
Hell
It's
yeah.
it's staying in.
Raw.
Oh shit.
Yeah, shout out to Neef, actually edits these episodes, but very, very, very minimal stuff. What was I gonna say? Oh, if you're from like a smaller town than Nashville, it's easy to think Nashville is a big city, but it's fucking not. Like it is a small town. There's a lot of people here, but it's a small town and word gets around. So if you're a dick and you don't respect other artists in town, everyone knows that.
It's funny you bring that up. I feel like the thing that's bothering me is there's that's a good part of it, but there's also like a huge like mob of people that are trying to cancel everybody for everything in the punk scene and stuff. And I think every time just about that I've put out a flyer, I've gotten a message about so and so, and I've taken bands, literally every other bill, taken a band off, and some of them, and because it's just the easiest thing to do, I'm like, it's gonna be some drama if we leave you on here, regardless of whether or not you did whatever this is. We gotta, but a lot of it's sometimes it's true, and there's shitty people out there, but I mean, there's a mob, man. It's crazy.
I know exactly what you're saying because it's happened to me 100 times.
Yeah.
Where, well, not literally 100 times.
100 times, man. I'm wondering about this.
It's happened to me a bunch where it's like, wow, you had him on your show.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
And it's like, well, if it was really, so like I have a couple of responses to that, right?
Right.
If it was really such a big deal, why didn't you, like, why is if it's like a serious accusation, it's like, okay, why is this person not in jail? Why haven't why has no one pressed charges about this?
Right.
Why has no one I don't know, it is very cancel culture-y. I have noticed that that shit has way less power than it did in like 2016, 2017. Cancel culture is canceled. Like shit doesn't really affect anyone anymore because
people bounce back a little more because people go on and cancel somebody else and they forget, like they start losing interest after they've talked enough shit. But
there are people that won't talk to me either through association or like I've had my name dragged through the mud unfairly. Like it happens to people. It happens to people that don't deserve it, and it's like your reputation speaks for yourself. Like if people if that's like one person out of 100, like it's not really, who cares?
Right.
Like that's really just hurting that person's, like, oh, this person just likes to stir up shit.
Right. And I think it's like
It is.
in equal measure, we should like be willing to approach the people accused, but also like the if somebody's crying wolf 100 times every person, you gotta start taking that into account, you know.
Yeah. What I've noticed is like like in certain scenes, a lot of people that play metal music or punk music, what have you, maybe weren't the most popular person as in high school,
Yeah,
and maybe they got picked on a lot in high school, and now that they have a following, now that they have a little bit of power, they turn into a jock, they turn into a cheerleader,
right,
and they're just punching down the same way. It's like a cop.
right.
It's like a fucking cop.
A little bit of power, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like now that I got power, I'm gonna bully everyone, and it's like,
Preach, Alex.
yeah, like, yeah. I mean, it's a fucking problem, and I have zero tolerance for that shit. But it that being said, it has happened where it's like, okay, I can't have this person on my show anymore, either because, like I believe the accusations, or it's like this is just not, it's not gonna be good for anyone.
Right.
So I feel you on that. Like it's definitely complicated. It's not so easy as just.
I that's what I was saying. I was really curious about your opinion just because you're in a similar position of like deciding who gets to be a part of the thing
Yeah.
and whatnot.
It is. It's tough, man. It is. I don't really have like it's a case by case thing, right? Like you have
Right.
to weigh each thing individually. There's not like a blanket answer for how to deal with that kind of shit. Um, yeah. Um, forget what I was gonna say, but
You keep all these questions off the dome. I was thinking you'd have like a little something written somewhere, like what's my next, you know,
oh,
you've
what
been doing it long enough, I guess.
I mean, I have a couple of things I ask everyone,
Yeah.
but this is interesting stuff. So like, um, to kind of like wrap up with a little bow, like what we've been talking about. Like, I think you guys keep doing what you're doing. You guys are really affluent in the right kind of way in the scene. Like you do this for long enough. Like I've been doing this for uh over 3 years.
Nice.
And I've been like heavily involved in the scene like before we started the show, like since like 2015.
Yeah.
So like I've been around a minute. Like that's how I know everybody, and that's you just keep doing what you're doing, like playing shows with different people, like having different kind of acts to Gunk House, like that's how you do it, like a grassroots kind of movement. Um, as for like my calendar, like deciding what I'm gonna do. Um, I've decided, this is kind of a recent thing. I've decided like the bands that have snubbed me, that like, oh yeah, dude, we'll set something up. Well, we'd love to come on your show.
Yeah.
Ghost, like just leave me on red when I try to set
Right.
something up. Don't chase those kind of people. Like let them exist without trying to like continue to pursue that.
Yeah.
Like if someone doesn't want to play that, like play a Gunk House, that's totally fucking fine because there's 100 other bands you can ask.
Right, right.
So don't get hung up on the people that don't support you. Just show love to the people that show up for you. That's the best advice I can give is show loyalty where it's due.
Right.
Like there's I love checking out new music, but like there are certain bands I will go catch anytime I can.
Right.
Just because like those are my homies, like we hang out outside of shows, or just because I really like these are good people and I love what they do. Yeah, that's the people that don't want to fuck with you, don't fuck with them.
Yeah,
That's something I'm like just learning kind of like this year.
yeah, for sure. I think when we first moved to Nashville, would reach out to a bunch of bands that were similar in style to us. And a lot of those bands ended up being, at least initially, people that didn't really have any interest in playing with you if you weren't going to bring people out or, you know, because I mean, it is oversaturated and I get that. But I don't think we would have pursued the punk scene or, you know, either like the MTSU, like indie rock bands and all that shit, if they hadn't just come to us and just like showed up, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really weird thinking about like back when we were in Alabama and trying to book shows in Nashville and being like, it's like it almost felt like impenetrable, you know, like not knowing where to go,
exactly.
like what to do. And finally we were just like, fuck it, we're just not gonna play in Nashville. And we just skipped over Nashville like plenty of
Yeah.
times.
There's a lot of
But-
big bands that do that.
Like now that we're actually here and it's just like it's actually it feels like nowhere near as impenetrable as it feels like being like on the outside of it, you know what I
Right.
mean? I think that it's just hard to like when you're on the outs of it to know like the right people to talk to and like the right path in, you know, to like actually get into like a show that's gonna like be cool and whatnot, not just like another random thrown together dive bar show,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. It's yeah, it can be really hard to break into for sure. I think like little bands trying to tour here have that problem, and then like the big bands just know it's like that,
Right.
and so they just don't bother coming
Yeah.
through either because of metrics or just for whatever reason they don't. A few reasons they just don't come to Nashville. They skip over it. They'll go to Memphis instead.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, Nashville has a lot of work to do in terms of like its reputation because like just talking to you guys and like seeing you play, like you are doing it for the right reasons. You want to play the music you're playing. Like you can tell when a band, you can like everyone knows what it's like to see a band play and it's like they are bored.
Right.
Like how am I supposed to have a good time when you guys are not having a good time
Right.
doing what you're doing? And like it has to come from like a good place. Like I realize this isn't music, but like what I'm doing, I just do it because it's fun. Like I like having these kind of conversations. And you know, like I want to help out artists. Like I enjoy doing that. But you know, if one day this popped off, like we're on TikTok now, which is getting way more views than any of our actual uploads.
I bet.
Like clips, yeah. Not a lot of people have the retention span for like a long form conversation like this, but the little shout out to Damn Sam does all our TikTok clips.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I saw him editing the other day. That pressure. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, Damn Sam's the man, dude. Yeah. But
I'm glad we're part of the cognitive soup. You're
yeah,
just
man. He's a
stirring.
he's a great down to earth dude too. Like
Yeah.
very nice guy.
That's gonna be in a TikTok.
He's gonna clip that. Yeah. He's like, I like this part. But yeah, if one day like this started making money, that'd be cool. But I already count myself successful because I'm doing what I want to do already. Like I'm exactly where I want to be. And I think that's how bands should approach it true, which I think is like kind of lost on a lot of people. Clearly not you guys, but like
I think people get into the number game. They're like, I need this many followers, this many listens on this, and it's just I kind of
like, honestly nothing like turns me off from a venue or like a band or anything when I'm like, let's make a show happen, and then whether it's a band or a venue and they're like, all right, let's talk followers, and I'm already done. Like I'm like, never mind, I don't really care anymore.
Dude, you got hit
You're
with
gonna-
those before? Like how many followers do you have? Like
I mean,
before they book you?
especially like not. I don't feel like I've run into that recently, but like when it was like when we were coming off the pandemic, nowhere cared about like it didn't. No one wants you to play anywhere unless they were like, all right, are you gonna bring like so many people because we're at the point now where we need a crowd, we need to make money,
right.
and it was just like, oh my god, like did not feel good.
I
Like,
mean, I
going
get.
out
I
and
mean, if
playing
you're a
shows.
bar, then yeah. I mean, if you gotta, you're gonna die. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I mean,
there's-
I like
it's a little different for a venue.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it, you know, but like I guess that's just to the point where it's like I'm just more into like the house venues.
Yeah.
and, you
And I
know,
think also like the thing with the house shows is like, yeah, I mean, some bars like you walk in with some instruments and they're like, "Fuck, there's a band tonight."
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like
Yeah.
that's the first
Dude,
thing you hear. Like, off
yes.
the bat.
or like you know, it's just like I don't. I feel like it's like the vibe's just different when you play at a bar. I mean, obviously, like you're gonna like you'll get some people like that'll come out for the music, but I feel like a majority of the people you're playing for, the music's just there for them and whatnot, you know. But like, whereas if you're going to a house show, albeit just about everybody that's in the whole premises is there for this one thing, and that is for like this art that's going on, and not just like I can just connect with that way more than like going to a bar. I almost get like to the point where I feel like I'm bothering people.
Right, yeah,
You know what I
sure.
mean? Like I'm like, all right, yeah, I don't even know if I should turn up. Really.
But we've been told
you're
we're bothering
enjoying
people.
your
So
drink,
like,
you know?
there was one bar. I'm not gonna name
Yeah,
this
yeah.
place, but there's a local place where the bartender came up. They're like, I was like, I'm just making sure there's no money for us, right? Like we didn't make anything, just double checking. And she's like, now you listen here. The bands don't make money. You're scaring our customers away. And just tore us a new one. I was like, oh, that's fine. And she just kept going and chased us out, man. I was
Damn.
like,
It's like why
I-
even like book hands
why
at
do you
this
book-
point,
yeah,
you know?
they
Like-
book heavy shows like every other night. And I'm like, what are you doing if the customers don't want to hear that
It's
shit?
like,
That's so
customers
funny.
don't like it. It's like you don't like it. What are you doing?
What is this?
Right, I'll tell you off camera which place it is.
Oh yeah, that's so fucking funny. It's so weird. Yeah, like there's definitely like people and certain bars that like it feels like that where it's like y'all are upset that there's a band playing. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is. Like all the witches could walk in and they're like, oh
Right,
god
yeah.
damn it.
Yeah, there's like there's definitely some people, like some bartenders that are just, they don't, it doesn't matter what it is, they hate anything that walks through the door, you know. And I get it, they gotta hear people over the music and shit like that, but why are you at a loud bar is what I'm
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. It's like they liked the idea in theory.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas like I've never gone and played in somebody's living room and basement and not had a great time. You
Right.
know, like you'll think that the floor is gonna cave in underneath you, but it's a great time. And if it did happen, who cares? You know?
I mean, personally, I just show up at Gunk House for the furniture and the bathroom, and when bands start playing, I'm like, God damn it, damn it,
That's
not
really
this shit
the only
again.
yeah, it's the worst.
So hard segue, switching gears here. These are kind of my the things I ask everybody. So if you've seen the show, you probably know what's coming. But something I ask everyone, and I like to preface this by saying that no one knows the answer to this question. Some people think they do, but we all have different opinions on it, and no one's more right than anyone else. What do you guys think happens after we die?
I don't know. Well, nobody know.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, yeah.
Does
I mean,
anything make more sense to you than anything else? I think about this too often.
Right.
Like it's
Well,
something I
at
think
least
about
once
a
a
lot.
week.
You should. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty relevant. I think it's black nothingness and nothing matters and all that. You know, I think that's just where I'm placing my
see,
chips.
I
You know,
think-
I don't necessarily believe that, but that's and you know, if there's some intelligent energy that's gonna like absorb my soul into like, so sure. I mean, but I think that's just where I'm placing my bets.
Like I think you're on the money.
Yeah.
Like I think odds are it's just like nothing. But I'd be really happy with that one. You know?
You know, that can be like a kind of like a sad thing for some people, and it can be really comforting for other people.
Yeah,
Where they're like, oh, thank God it's over.
you're
after
chilling
this.
the hardest you're ever gonna chill. You know?
Yeah, you don't get more chill than
You're
that.
you're not worried about what so and so said or what you came off the wrong way or whatever. No.
Yeah. I don't even like sleeping because I don't know if I'd like that.
No.
So,
Yeah, I'm kind of more in that camp where it's like that's definitely a real like that could be the case, but that doesn't give like me any comfort, like where I'm like I hope that's not it.
yeah,
But there are definitely some people that are like I fucking hope so.
yeah.
You mean there's more after this? Fuck.
You guys want to hear a sick fact about death I heard the other day?
What's that?
No.
Yeah, you do. So in a Victorian era, I think it was like England or something like that. They're of the belief that your body just has a bunch of worms inside it. And that's why like when people die and they decompose, they get eaten by worms. The worms were there the whole time. They were just waiting for you to die. Isn't that crazy?
That's
They
true.
thought the
Full of
body
worms.
had the worms.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
I mean, everyone knows that. That's just true.
Duh. And that's why I said it's a fact.
yeah, the intestines and all that. That looks a little wormy.
There's probably a higher percentage of people with worms.
They had
than
worms
everyone.
back then.
Yeah.
That's
So that probably helped me believe. You know?
Nowadays it's like 1 out of every 1,000 people has
Yeah.
worms inside them, but back then it was
I
like
bet
1
back
out of every
then, like you
5.
see somebody like shit a worm, you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, you're about to die.
you
You know?
you gotta put it back in.
Like, your worms are falling
Dude, you
out,
need those.
dude. Like, you need to hold on to them.
Speaking of being full of worms, the first Game of Thrones book, we were just talking about that earlier. That's my favorite out of all of them because there's a part near the beginning where like it's always a different character's perspective.
Mhm.
Like it's one of few character perspectives, and one of them's Bran.
Mhm.
And when Bran's a little kid, there's a part where it's after he's been paralyzed. He's on horseback, like Tyrion makes that saddle for him,
Yeah.
and he's out hunting with Theon and Rob, and they get separated like chasing a deer. And
yeah.
those two bandits, deserters, come up on Bran,
Mm-hmm.
and then Summer, his wolf, his fucking dire wolf, comes out of the woods and just mauls these guys. And my favorite fucking part in that whole book is, maybe the whole series, is Bran's a little kid at this point. He's like 8 years old, and he's like, and Summer was just like pulling these blue worms out of the guy's stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like as an adult, you're like, oh shit, he's watching like intestines get ripped out. But he's like 8 years old, so he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is
It's like,
fucking brilliant.
He doesn't refer to them as worms ever again. So yeah, it's only reason he says that is due to like his perspective. Like,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I love that part because it's like, it really, the author, like George R. R. Martin, like put himself in the shoes of like a child in order to write that. And like I write fantasy novels too, and I'm actually on my personal Instagram page, like I wrote standalone poetry, and I also write I'm working on a novel and posting it as I write it.
Yeah.
So
wow.
like in real time you can see like where I'm at with it.
Nice.
And
That's a good way to keep yourself accountable, man.
that's why I do it.
You know, that's the move.
I don't know if I'd be able to
Having like
finish
a
a novel.
routine. I've been trying to figure that out because I stopped doing all my like writing that's not music and shit. But that's cool, man.
That's
I gotta
a big
check
part
it.
of why I do that.
Do you have any stuff that's finished that's out or?
Not any books. I write a lot of like standalone pieces, which are also, it's just Rhetoric Rabbit Hole
Right.
On Instagram. The podcast is Rhetoric Rabbit Hole _pod. But yeah, I'm almost done with it. It's been about, oh shit. I've been writing this book for, let me think for a second. 6 years, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done. It's so fucking hard to write a book, but I'm like 350 pages into it, so it's almost done. So
That's awesome, man.
that'll be like such a weight off my shoulders when I'm done with that, because like I enjoy it. It's very fulfilling. I wouldn't say I enjoy it. It's very fulfilling.
Right.
And like, you guys are real artists, so you'll understand this. It's not optional for me. I have to do that.
Survival. Yeah.
That's, if I didn't do that, I would go insane.
Yeah.
Yes, Garrett gets it.
But
You know, I still might.
yeah, that's yeah, but you know, you gotta do what you can.
Yeah, I'm on that note, I am a very radical person about, we won't get into this too much. Alice has heard enough of my my toxic radical worldviews, but we live in a fucked up world. Like, my situation is pretty good. Like, I'm happy with you know, like I got a job that puts food on the table. I got great friends, having great conversations. So I'm happy with my life, but the world is fucked, dude. Like, and I only see a few ways we can handle this that I can't
Now
talk
we're getting
about.
to the important issues here. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably will not get too deep into that. But next question. Do you guys, I used to ask people if they had any ghost stories, but what I really mean when I ask that is, have you ever experienced something that you can't explain?
No, we can't explain shit, man.
Besides life.
Physicists can't.
Besides just being alive.
We can't explain within a framework of like our our usual like day to day like. That's where I'm getting hung up
Yeah.
on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. It's actually, I'm not quite wording this right.
An experience with the paranormal, maybe? Is that
Yeah,
what
like
you're going
something
for?
Yeah.
paranormal or supernatural, which is also kind of vague. But I think you guys kind of get what I'm saying.
I think that for me, like, it's very hard for me to like really like believe a lot of paranormal like activity kind of stuff, just because like with my view on like death, or like, I think that for real you probably just turn to nothing, so like
Yeah.
how could you haunt something?
I
But
you,
it'd be cool.
I definitely
but
get
I
what you're
don't,
saying. One of my best friends is like a staunch atheist,
Mm.
and like talking to him, like for example, this is just one thing I can think of. He when he took DMT, he was like, I know that was in my head, but it certainly didn't feel that way. Like that's not what I experienced. That's definitely not what I felt. So like, I think you can have a very logical, pragmatic worldview and still have weird things happen to you. So I guess was there anything like from your childhood or anything you can think of? I think no is a great answer also, because that has a lot of implications too.
See, like, I don't think anything paranormal, because I don't believe in that. But I think I've seen aliens.
Okay.
But that's cool. But just like how everybody thinks that they've seen aliens. We all think that we did.
Sure. I don't think you have to like know, like have an idea about like what happened, but like what was that experience? Like what did you
Oh,
experience?
I mean, like, like just like how like I think everybody grows up and sees like weird shit in the sky that you can't really explain. Like, yo, did you see that star go that way? But then it went backward, like things like that, like
That counts.
but
Did
then,
you sorry, go ahead.
and like also like I don't know. I think back like to when I was a kid. So I do have one like weird thing but I mean, then again, this could also just be like very like not like as weird as it sounds. But I back when I lived in Anniston, actually. So back when I was really young, we lived next to the woods, and out in the woods there was a clearing that where the railroad tracks ran. And down the railroad tracks it was just fucking like fields and then the woods again, just nothing. And we used to have this trail that would go out to the railroad tracks because I'd like to go out there and just like smush pennies when the trains would come by and stuff, things like that. And I'd go and hang out there. And one day I'm hanging out there, and this is like it's like a good little ways away from like the other houses and stuff. It's like on out in the woods, and this family comes walking by. And I'm telling you, like a father, a mother, a kid, and the baby, and like they're all wearing like these like blue ponchos and like black pants, and they seem just as surprised as of me being there as I was. Like, what the fuck are these people doing here? As much as like an 8-year-old can just be like, and they're just like, you shouldn't be here. And I'm like, have you see yourselves like I what like, and they're just really offended about me being there, and so I just like ran away. But like it's right next to a train track. They could have just been like immigrants, like I mean, Who knows?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
That's a good story.
But like,
Dude, they might have seen some shit.
I
back
mean,
up the tracks a little ways,
for
yeah.
real, yeah. It
Mhm.
just tripped me out, like with like, it might been raining, so I wonder why they were wearing like ponchos.
Yeah.
It was like the rain, like the
Yeah.
blue rain ponchos.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, one of
stuff.
those ones you buy all like folded up.
I like to just
Yeah.
think that they were aliens because it was weird, and like also, why would you be walking around with your infant baby in a little baby poncho out in the woods like that? You know,
They're
don't know,
one
on
kind
a
of
sunny
alien or
day.
the other. Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's like there's just enough weird things in it that I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I can't
Where-
explain that really.
You said you were by yourself too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's fucking weird.
That's weird. That's weird. Yeah,
Oh, man.
that's probably the closest to unexplainable.
But
But
that definitely counts.
but it could have just been aliens.
yeah.
And I mean, like, if so, like, I hope that
Hope they're okay.
Yeah, if they made it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, they didn't get ran over by a train.
Yeah, yeah.
Hope they stay dry.
Yeah.
They're really dry.
They're worried about it. You know, they came prepared.
It could have rained at any second.
Garrett, you got anything coming
Dude,
to
I've
mind?
been trying so hard, man.
Hey, no, like no, I don't
I
have
wish
a
I
weird
could come
story.
up with a cool one too, you know. But nah, I don't got
It's
shit.
like fuck, I have to fall after Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Hunter S. Thompson quote I really like. He said, "Something I learned a long time ago is reality is far stranger than anyone's imagination," which is just like hit me really hard when I heard that, because it's like the most imaginative, brilliant like writers and creators in the world are basing it off of observation, like
Right.
either other pieces of art or just what's around them. And that's all really art is it's like a reflection of reality, and then reality reflects art, and it becomes like a reflect off of each other. And I definitely think that as a species we have no fucking idea what's going on, but at this point in time we like to think we do. Where it's like science has gone pretty damn far, and we do know a lot. We do know a lot about how things work, but we still have so many questions. Like as I'm getting older, I have more questions than answers. Whereas like it's so true that like when you're a teenager, you think you have it all figured out. Like when I quit I moved out when I was 18, got away from like my family's religion, and like I didn't know anyone because I was also homeschooled. So like I didn't know anybody, and because I was raised like with Christianity forced down my throat, I was very like staunchly atheist. What are you laughing at, Evan?
Get Christianity shoved down your throat,
The
did you?
The Pope, yeah, I was the altar boy. Explains a lot.
Exposed.
But I was very much like when I moved out, like staunchly an atheist. And then
Right. You're mad.
I was mad.
The angst.
Yes. And like I thought I'm like, no, there's no like such a dick about it too. Like, no, there's no God.
Right.
What does Sky Daddy tell you what to think?
Yeah. And then I realized like, oh, I'm just mad. And then like talking to people, and then like life experiences. I've told these stories a million times on the show, but like I had some like I went looking for shit. Like I was really into the occult and like Aleister Crowley and chaos magic and like that whole rabbit hole. Very superficially, like Hot Topic, Spencer's, Tim Burton,
Yeah.
like just aesthetic.
Yeah,
Right.
you get that shirt with that one picture of Aleister Crowley with the hat on, like right in the middle there.
Yeah, I was the most obnoxious atheist because I also liked the occult aesthetically.
You
So,
get
like-
you some crystals in that.
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so not much has changed.
I won't talk shit about the crystals.
But like I like at this point in my life, I've experienced things that like really kind of made me question it. But it was only like when I went looking for it. Like I never had anything weird happen to me until I went like I fucked around and found out, like went looking for that.
Right.
Like with Ouija boards, with like channeling, and also just through hard psychedelic drug use, like lots of mushrooms, lots of acid, lots of DMT.
And that'll do that.
I was expecting you to beat around the bush.
Oh no, we don't mince words here.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm very well versed in the psychedelic realm. Other drugs too, but maybe I will mince words on that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny talking about psychedelics in regard to whether or not there's some other thing going on that we don't understand, some cosmic thing that we're part of, and life after death and stuff like that. Because some people take that shit and they see something and they're like, well, that's it, that's God, there's more, and some people see it and they're just, well, yeah, it's my brain doing the thing that the drugs do, you know. And but it's kind of fun to be like, oh, that's more shit that I just don't know, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Fun to imagine either way if you can suspend your belief for a second. You know?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I don't know shit
Right.
about what the fuck is going on. Like, I think the answer is something like neither and both. Like, I think what happens in your head also happens outside, and it's like the problem is we try to put it in these confines where it's like, it's either in my head
Right.
or not. And it's like, well, maybe the world doesn't work the way we think it does. Maybe it's like I think John Lennon said it best. Like, I am he as you are he, and you are me, and we are one. And we are all together.
Yeah.
And that's ironically cuckoo.
Yeah.
And ironically, this is what like pretty much all religion says. Like a lot of like Catholics and like Trinitarians don't understand what the Trinity is, but the Holy Trinity is Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And that's actually what I hate to like, this is what it means, but like in my study, in talking to like theologians, like beyond just like religious people, but like people who study the Bible secularly, like as like went to school for this shit, like that's what Jesus is saying also when he talks about being the Son of God. He's saying, hey guys, we're all God, and I'm aware of this, and I'm not special. Like that's, I think where a lot of Christians lose it is it's like Jesus isn't special, he's you. Like literally. Like I think we're all the same person. And the only thing that makes us different is life experience. So like, and that person that we are is God. So it's like the way I see it is like God is okay, you're just God in a vacuum. That's so profoundly lonely to just, it's just you. So create a world where you can go down and pretend you're not alone. And so what really sucks is me saying that and like espousing that is kind of breaking that. It's like,
yeah, because you know that you are alone, but but
you're supposed to get lost in it and have the illusion of being an individual.
there's definitely, I think that is like a Hindu thing.
Yeah. I swear every religion says this.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of religious people don't know that it says that.
Have you seen the Big Les show?
The what?
The Big Les show.
Let
me put you on some shit, man.
Bro, okay.
Is it the one with the Sasquatches?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's just fun.
Yeah, but the big thing at the end of the Sasquatch's adventure is it turns out to be the universe experiencing itself and whatnot. But that's a fun, if you would love that shit, man.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, like text me that or something. That way I'll remember, because I'm the worst at remembering shit.
Yeah.
Is that the same guy that did that like the Bush World Rick and Morty thing? Is it the same?
I don't know. I've seen that.
Michael Cusack?
I don't think it's the same guy, but maybe his name's Jared something.
Two funny ass Australians.
Yeah, dude. I love that brand of like independent stoner animation shit.
Yeah.
It's got a soft spot. I also hate now that it's all like co-opted by TikTok. And that's like,
Yeah.
thought it was so cool when I used to watch that.
Whoa. Sassy's on TikTok.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure everything has been
Okay, I thought you
consumed.
meant specifically.
Yeah,
Okay.
The all-encompassing talk.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they got you too. That's cool. That's I'm glad.
Dude, I
got your toes in there.
I've never like scrolled through TikTok. I literally just upload to it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, God damn, I should have done this a lot sooner. Because it's
Yeah.
like I got like 700 hits on a little clip in like a couple of hours.
Yeah,
Dude,
Which is like nothing for TikTok.
right.
That's fucking like that's
It's
just a grain
all,
of
like,
sand.
Chinese bots. That's not crazy the website.
No humans at all. Oh my god. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, isn't it kind of crazy though when you do come across a TikTok thing that only has like one like and you're like, whoa, what the fuck?
How is that
this,
possible?
like unearthed territory? Like,
I think the ones that used to freak me out, like I had TikTok and I would scroll on it a whole lot, but like like when I was doing that, like you'd occasionally come across one of those where it was like clearly a kid who was way too young to be doing this, like some 6-year-old
Yeah.
showing off his like Roblox build or something. It's like, Jesus, I should not be looking at
Oh,
this right now.
it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the first thing I saw when I fucking opened it up was just like young girls like dancing and being really sexual and shit. I was like, what the fuck? This
yeah,
is
TikTok's just a horrible place.
yeah.
It's such a weird, scary time to be like coming up right now. Like I do not envy these kids. Like it was weird enough. Like I guess we're probably all around the same age. Like it's not like it was weird enough for us, like growing up with the internet, kind
Yeah.
semi sort of.
I was really poor growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't have the internet until I was like about to go to college. You know, like
That's
we-
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
actually.
so like it was kind of like wild, like just being like, oh,
like,
I can
your
play
brain isn't
Halo
just
now, but also
fried,
like
yeah.
everybody knows what everybody's doing all at the exact same time. Like what? Like
You know,
All this porn I have access to.
yeah,
I don't have to go find magazines in the woods anymore. That's the rules.
find a curvy tree.
Damn, the tree got back.
you know, I lived in the woods. So.
You know, it's funny. I think about sometimes like we call it the information age now, but we've been oversaturated for like 60 years now. With you know, like we've been like addicted to like television and all this stuff. I mean, before it. And everybody's been writing about it for so long. And everybody's known about it for so long, and we've known that we're horribly addicted to technology, and we just still keep eating it up,
Yeah.
and just making it more and more addictive, and we just our attention spans go down more and more, and we all know it, and we're like, the clips that you're watching that tell you about how addicted you are addictive, you know, and that's what it's kind of schizophrenic about it, you know.
Well said.
Yeah, thank you. I like that word.
No, it's like that.
As an
Like you can
So-
get like addicted to like
Yeah.
like self-help awareness shit about the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the self-help stuff is funny because I mean anything like you like start looking up gym stuff. I was me recently, and I start scrolling through a lot of gym stuff, and then it's like it gets to be unhealthy or you know whatever, any of it.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. I this is like real tinfoil hat, but like I'm very much like a humanitarian. Like I think people are good, with exceptions, like obvious exceptions. There are definitely like people that are not good, like that just have no sense of like being good. But I think overall people are good, and the state of the world that we're in is not necessarily people doing this to us. I think there's an external force, whatever you want to call that, that is interfering with humanity to make us this way, to make our toxic culture that we're in.
Some malevolent being.
Yeah, aliens, reptiles, demons, something.
That's fun. I mean I said that's not a condescending. I like the idea that it is that and not people.
You know, Occam's razor would just say, well, people are fucking horrible,
Right.
and that's, you don't need aliens to make that make
Right.
sense. But maybe I'm just really fucking naive, but like I think people are pretty good. Like I don't know a lot of like really awful people.
Well, think about the circle you're in, though.
Yeah.
I'm like you know, like we're uh, we surround ourselves with people that we like. You're not having like some like soulless like corporate psychopaths on your show. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like there's people that just don't have uh, a good bone. Like they're just out to just, and the people that are part of like making the YouTube algorithm force you to be like into one way or another, like, or like forcing like writing the most addictive algorithm possible, or like radicalizing shit, like all those problems, like there's a bunch of people and it's just getting handed down orders and they're just part of a thing that you don't even understand when you're working for something, you know. But at the top there's some, it's all money, you know. And
You make a good point.
You think hell is run by middle managers?
shit,
You
some
you
fast
definitely
food, like, yeah.
yeah,
If you're leaning, you ain't cleaning.
Yeah.
That motherfucker is down there.
you definitely make a good point with like I'm guilty of like not recycling when I should, right? And it's like if enough people do that, the world's fucked. And it's like you don't have to be evil for that to happen. It's like you're just careless. You're just not being an ethical consumer. And it's like if enough people do that, you don't even need evil. Like it just happens on its own.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, what
Yeah.
happens when we consume and consume. Yeah, but it's for me, I'm like, it doesn't, it's hard for that to fall on the consumer. I think the effort by a lot of what we've seen out of like being told to recycle and stuff is distracting from the actual companies that are producing all the plastic.
yeah.
And it's just
For
like
sure.
there's an obvious, like we're not cutting it off at the source, you know.
Yeah.
Big time.
That's actually on that, Garrett, like, you know, like we're all good people. Why are we letting this happen? You know? Like
Well, if we were to do something about it and do the wrong thing, would that make us bad people?
talking about eco-terrorism and shit.
yeah, I am. It's, you know, there's enough of us good people that we could do something about this if we so chose to. And we've done it before, right? Like there's the Boston Tea Party, there's the French Revolution. There was shit happening here, you know, not too long ago. Like Hong Kong, they were rioting hard and they
Yeah.
shut that shit down. You know, George Floyd was murdered and we were fucking going hard here. And, you know, a lot of that turned bad. Like a lot of that was not good because like now you have people breaking into mom and pop stuff. Now you have like people that are not helping anything. But there were also, you know, like good people in those movements. It just got infiltrated probably by the fucking CIA.
Right.
But, you know, we were doing some shit. We were actually doing something. And then all of a sudden, we all have to stay indoors all over the world.
Right. Yeah.
But, you know, there's another wave of that coming here sooner rather than later. Like people are not happy. And I think we could do something about the state of the world if we can just all unify together. And that's the agenda of the powers that be, of the corporations, of the government, is let's divide people. Let's divide people over abortion. Let's divide people over gender. Let's divide people over race. And every single thing you can divide people over, that way they don't get together. Because if they get together, that's what they don't want. That's what they're afraid of, is everyone going, hey, wait a minute. We have more in common than we realize.
Right.
We can stop whatever we can take control of this.
And I think, well, that's what's crazy about that is like it ties back to the kind of schizophrenia I'm talking about the information age, because they will sell you the revolution too. and then use that to make they're like you think that you're like siding against like corporate shit, but no, you're just like being more divisive, and and cancel culture is part of that too. I feel like we've been pushed into just like focusing in on like, yeah, sure, so and so said some remotely sexist, homophobic, whatever, and but then you're like at the same time, you know, I maybe eating Chick-fil-A isn't as bad as like bombing children in Israel. What, like there's there's more pressing things. I think that is, and not to say that we shouldn't be nice and civil, but that does feel like a distraction to me.
Yeah, I really appreciate talking to you guys. This has been really fun. It's good getting to know you guys because I've definitely like seen you guys around at stuff, but this is a good way for me to meet people and actually figure out who they are. So I appreciate everything you guys do. Shout out to Gunk House. Shout out to Cavehole. These guys are doing amazing stuff for the scene, and just making great content also. Check them out, links below, and check them out October 16th at Cobra. And then December
Oh, yeah.
1st is your album
Yeah.
release. Where at? Oh,
To be decided, probably
To-
Gunk.
yeah,
Probably
probably
Gunk.
TBA. Okay. Well, yeah, just keep up with it, and these guys will keep you informed through their social medias.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you again, gentlemen. I appreciate your time.